Is that a Souls-like?
Yes, I would say so.
I played the demo of that the other day, and I really couldn't tell. I was like, what's a Souls-like anymore? Like, it felt action-y.
Were you enjoying yourself? Because that's the real determination. Yeah.
I need to look at the state of play again. I feel like I don't remember anything.
Hello and welcome to the Press Start podcast, Press Start Australia's weekly video game discussion podcast. Do you reckon my audio just clipped right out again? Was I too loud?
It always does.
You leant about 8 feet back from the microphone as well.
I'm your host, Ewan, joined today by my fellow gamers and co-hosts, Shannon.
Hello.
James.
Hello.
I didn't think you were going to answer me for a second.
No, I tabbed over. I thought I'd be last.
It's a good thing that I don't need these breaks now introducing you all to actually sync up the episodes anymore. Thank goodness for modern day technology. Last but not least, we're joined today by Brodie.
Hello.
Are you done with your game now, Brodie?
No, it's still going. I'm in round 38, so I'm a bit committed.
38? Are you going to play right through this podcast?
I'll play as long as it takes. I'm getting a bit distracted. I need a fantasy movie that Emma Stone was in.
Okay.
La La
Brodie is
Land.
hopelessly addicted to Sin... What's it called? Sin to
Nerdle, whatever it's called. Yeah.
Right. Okay, we'll keep us up.
I'll let you know how I go.
That goes. Today we're going to be discussing Brodie's review of Avowed, if we can keep his attention long enough, and PlayStation's state of play that happened last week. Brodie, are you ready to talk about some Avowed?
I guess we can.
And you played it too, didn't you, James? Avowed.
No.
Shannon
played it?
Big Shandog.
Shannon has.
Shannon has. Okay, I wondered which of us got it early. Well, Brodie, starting with you. You reviewed the game. What did you make of it?
All right, I've left my game. I need to be committed to this.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your
it's hurt my
undivided
record.
It's your
I'll have
moment
you
to
know.
shine. They don't come up very often.
Are you going
Avowed.
down a rank? Is that how it works?
Oh yeah, it does have a true ranking and stuff like that, so that's just cooked me a bit, but that's okay. Yeah, Avowed. Hey, let's talk about Avowed. I liked Avowed quite a bit. I think if you're coming at it expecting like a very big, expansive, very deep systemed RPG, I don't think that's what you're going to get. It is a very truncated experience, similar to Outer Worlds being like their take on Fallout. This is kind of their take on fantasy, akin to say like Skyrim or Elder Scrolls. Yeah, its focuses I found weren't really keeping you in menus and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of the stuff you do there is kept relatively simple. Like the companion system is almost, it drives itself just about like you can't even fiddle with your companion's gear or anything like that. There's no like reputation meters to keep track of. You don't have to curry favor with them at all. Granted, like if you do things for them, it'll affect the story toward the end and stuff like that, like in terms of how their story resolves. But on the whole, like that's played pretty straight, and even their skill tree is like far leaner than what yours is. Like they've only got a few 4 skills, I think it is, to choose from, and then they each have like a few little branches from that. But I think the focus with Avowed was making sort of a very accessible entry point for the Pillars of Eternity universe, and I think they have done that. Like they don't smack you over the head with all the lore, and I don't even think it is a prerequisite to come into it at all and experience the story for what it is. And I did like the story. Me and Shannon spoke about it a bit, how it wasn't really grabbing him and stuff like that. But the more I went on, like I thought like the A to B like through line story, like the Golden Path, I guess it wasn't like it was pretty by the numbers, but it was sort of all the stuff around the outside that I liked a lot, like the side quest stuff and all the politicking around, like it's very heavy on all the policies of all the different regions and stuff like that. So that was interesting. There's obviously things I don't love about, I guess, the RPG-ness of it. Like they lock a lot of things behind, like say your party camp. So your party camp is something, you're not limited in how many times you can do it, but it's sort of like you go up to these big crystals in the map and you can set up camp, and sort of like Baldur's Gate, like how you like set up overnight and you have a powwow with your team and stuff like that. It's pretty much only in these places that you can craft and upgrade weapons and stuff like that.
Why do you think they did that? Because it did feel like, I mean, I didn't hate it, but like it did feel kind of it felt maybe a game breaker, a little bit weird that you were just like setting up these camps then going on your way.
Yeah. Look, I don't know whether it was just to force those breaks in play, like, because why would you camp otherwise? Because I mean, there's certain dialogue things you can only do at the party camp as well, which kind of moves along the individual stories of each of your companions and stuff like that. And it's sort of, if you don't have a party camp, say from 4 hours into the game to 12 hours into the game, there'll be like 8 hours worth of like mission logs to catch up with them on. So you'll have to keep going back to them because they'll continuously have like an exclamation mark, and they'll just keep like rifling through each major story beat until you get to the end of it. And then, like, so that kind of,
we have a lot to unpack.
Yeah, that kind of felt a little inorganic in that sense. But yeah, I think where the game really shines is in its combat. The very open, classless, very fluid sort of combat system that this game has, it just grants you a lot of freedom to play with all the upgrades. Like there's like 3 or 4 skill trees that you have. Like there's ranger, like there's a wizard one, and I think there's something else, I can't remember what it was called, but like you're free to like unlock any upgrades from any of those trees as you go, and like sort of just combine them all depending on what you're gravitating to at the time.
I was curious about what you did gravitate towards, because I remember when we played a little bit of a preview around PAX.
Yeah.
We kind of experimented with a couple of different loadouts. What did you end up settling on the most? Or did you
in the end, it's sort of, I just went to sort of, I guess, what with the weapon grading and all that sort of stuff, I just gravitated towards, I guess, whatever I had the best quality of. Like weapons are basically like they fall into like 1 of 5 grades. Like you've got like, average quality right up to like legendary, and like you mostly get like superb stuff towards the end of the game. And obviously the resources you pick up, you can sort of pour into them to like each, say, superb legendary has like 3 tiers in its own, so like you can upgrade them as you go. But by the end, because you can have 2 loadouts on the go at once, like I was sort of flipping between like a spear and a grimoire, so like the magic book that you sort of can flick spells out of and stuff like that. And then in the other hand, I just had like a 2-handed great sword, which was good for up close and personal stuff. So yeah, I mean, like, but I experimented a lot throughout. Like midway through the game, I had like a gun, as well as like I dabbled with wands and stuff like that, and bows. Like, so there's a lot of options in what you can sort of do, and there are a lot of upgrades throughout that skill tree that let you sort of I guess sort of fine-tune what you're after in that sense. So on the whole, I think, again, it's kind of pared back in terms of those big RPG systems. But I think what it offers in like story and character building and world building without sort of beating you over the head with the Pillars of Eternity stuff, I think it's a fun little RPG that sort of doesn't overstay its welcome either. Like it's probably, I don't know, the mainline story was probably 15 hours or something like that.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that, because I've heard some people saying surprisingly long, because I think they've played down the scope of the game this whole time, kind of in the lead up to release.
I'd love to know what these two are giggling about.
I think I just cut off James. I think
it's the most random thing, and I can't. But anyway, I actually had a question. Can I ask him one question?
Yeah, don't worry about Ewan's. You go ahead.
Nah, well, Ewan cuts me off every other episode, so it's my turn now. My question is, Brodie, you mentioned it's an RPG, but I do feel like what I'm reading everywhere is that there's not really a sense of, I guess, like choice and consequence in the game like you would expect from a game like New Vegas or something. And a lot of people I have read around are saying it is more akin to an action game, which is fine, than an RPG. Like, would you agree or disagree? Or because which leads into my other question, which was a lot of people think it's going to be very Skyrim-y. How Skyrim-y is it?
So they've gone the old Skyrim job, have they? Look, I don't know. Look, I guess, because Skyrim didn't really offer much of that sort of agency over the story outcomes and stuff like that, did it? It was very a straight line in that sense. I think it's probably like a little bit of a mix of both, because I think there is some story branching. Like, there's definite like consequences that you sort of do get throughout the story. Granted, they might not be overarching and enormous in terms of the main story, but there was definitely things that I decided early in the game that did pay off midway through the game. Like there's like this one lady that you're free from like a jail in like literally on the first island, like Tutorial Island I called it, and like she came back like halfway through the game with like a band of bandits that like sort of, and because I had helped her earlier, she basically talked the bandits around and sort of helped me out. So it was like a scratch your back, scratch my back kind of situation. So there's little things like that do poke up, but in the sense of like, like it's not Baldur's Gate, clearly. Like it doesn't have that kind of, the choices you make don't reverberate fully throughout the story to like microcosmic levels. But like there are certain things that I think do branch it off here and there. And there's definitely a couple of endings, like or at least a couple of endings. So I've seen 2 of them at least. So yeah.
For me, like it feels like Skyrim and like Fallout in the sense that like it kind of just sets you out. Like you do a little bit of tutorial stuff, but then you can really just like go on your way, choose whatever you want to do, come across like super high level encounters that you can either like choose to stick with or go around. Like I understand why like the most hardcore of like RPG fans, like maybe it's like a bit light for them, but I think it serves its purpose, and I don't think every RPG needs to be that deep. Like it feels like it's a good balance for more casual. To me, it's like not as gripping as like Skyrim or Fallout for like the mass population in terms of the story and the Pillar of Eternity sort of world. But from a gameplay point of view, you can really just jump in and have fun with it, I think. And like you can put everything into it and get all the different endings, or you can just play it once and have a good time, and it's fine.
To Shannon's point, I found this more having finished the story and gone back to a few saves before, and like going around trying to do like the side missions and stuff. Like the playground itself and the open world, it is really fun to just muck around in. Like the movement is really enjoyable, like the parkour that you sort of dabble with, and like the platforming side of things is cool. And the fact that enemies are sort of like static levels. So like they don't scale with you as you level up and stuff like that. So you can, like Shannon says, like wander into a dungeon and there's like a way over leveled spider that's just going to kick the shit out of you. So like it's fun. It makes exploration fun in that sense. And like I was constantly like drawn towards like those exclamation marks on the map, like as I am with these kind of games, which I haven't felt for a while. So
yeah, I'm excited to get some time with it. Sorry, James, go for it.
Again, how are the companions, Brodie?
Yeah.
I only ask because I know one of them is voiced by Garrus, who is like my favorite RPG character ever.
Kai, his name is. Yeah, he was my ride or die throughout. So I didn't really like, because you get 4 in all, and you pick them up all relatively early. Like I'd say you have all 4 companions within 6 hours, and then you've got say another 6 or 7 hours again of game to play, and at any given point, like you take only 2 of them with you, and like I kept Kai with me the whole time, and basically the other spot was just interchangeable for whoever would sort of suit the mission or who had to go on the mission. So yeah, I did like Kai. All their individual stories are quite good though. Like they've each got their own sort of motivations and sort of seeing their side stuff play out, especially Kai's, like with sort of his backstory and what he goes through, and like some of the endings like of their stories, because obviously at the end it gives you like one of those overviews of where everyone ends up after it, and his stories wound up actually being quite sad. So yeah, I think Kai was good. I don't know about the others, like they're ultimately kind of forgettable by the end, but I didn't hate them by any means. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just making sure I don't interrupt anyone else.
Yeah, good.
It did really make me want another Skyrim or another Fallout or like anything, because I just think those games were like such a cut above in this type of style game, and I'm just not like a big Baldur's Gate fan or that genre of game, so it did really scratch an itch for me. Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting stuck into it. I haven't organized the early access for myself, so I'm waiting until Wednesday for it to come out fully.
Yeah, that is annoying. I think that kind of ruins the like everyone jump in at once kind of experience.
Yeah,
but it is what it is.
Yeah, I get it.
Can I quickly just say though, I think that they did this better than they did indie. Like I think indie was like you get early access if you pay $60 for the expansion pass, right? But with this one, I think it was like $25 to get it early. And if I didn't have a trip coming up, I probably would have done that. I think that's like a much more like reason. I mean, I know you're paying for nothing really, like, but I feel like that's a much more reasonable price for like an early access Game Pass situation.
Yeah. I'm curious, firing this up, which one I kind of gravitate more towards, because I'm still playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 as well, and enjoying that. But it's obviously very kind of dense. It's a bit of a slower pace sort of game, I'd imagine, as well. I kind of see Kingdom Come as the game I kind of keep coming back to throughout the year and playing in bits and pieces, whereas Avowed kind of get the impression I could kind of play through it over the course of like a week, a couple of weekends, that kind of thing, and be pretty content with that. which I guess kind of given busy schedules people have, that might appeal to some, whereas Kingdom Come might well appeal to others. Yeah, I'm excited about it, Brodie. I'm pleased you enjoyed it. Let's go back in time, though, to last week and discuss the PlayStation State of Play. It was the first of the year, and it had a stack more interesting announcements than I thought it was going to. I think we kind of spoke a little bit before it happened. We're a little bit tentative about what to expect, but there were several big announcements. Housemarque's new game, Saros, potentially the biggest reveal of the day. Shannon, starting with you, what did you think of the trailer of Saros, the new Housemarque game?
I
Am I pronouncing
mean,
that
the
correctly?
vibes.
Saros?
Saros,
How
I think
was
so.
it?
Saros.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, the vibes were cool. Like, I get Returnal vibes. The synthy little chords that we heard, like, wasn't really much to go on. And I feel like it's going to be, like, Returnal. But I think they've confirmed, like, you'll actually keep your upgrades and whatever you get along the way, which I think was, like one critique of Returnal. And why I never finished it. So I believe in Housemarque. I think they've had like a trajectory that's like gone up and up and up and evolved like with every one of their games. And this looks like the next step in that journey.
Did you ever play Returnal cooperative, Shannon?
I think we did together, Ewan, or I played with someone, maybe Brodie.
I think
maybe it was Brodie.
And I absolutely sandbagged you.
I couldn't, from the third world, I just could never do it. And like,
yeah,
you never got anything to help you.
I feel like it didn't really make it easier either.
Well, no, that's what I mean. Like, it never did.
It was
so
worse.
I managed to get. I couldn't play it solo. I got to the third level and then I couldn't make it to the third boss. But only when the cooperative rolled around did we manage to get through it.
But it's widely regarded as like the best PS5 exclusive game that's come out so far.
Yeah.
So I think there's good reason to be excited. It was.
I could not be more excited for the next Housemarque game. I knew immediately as that thing like rose out of the water, I was like, this is gotta be Housemarque. Like there was just something about that creature that just like reminded me of Returnal. And then you see like the reflection in his eyes of like all the bullets spilling around. I'm like, here we go. We are so on for like the spiritual successor of Returnal.
I thought it was a Helldivers expansion at first because he had a cape.
Literally, yeah. His armor very much looks like a Helldiver.
Yeah. I was like,
when you're excited for two games?
Yeah, I am. Returnal is also probably my favorite PS5 exclusive.
Yeah.
Of the like, Astro Bot's pretty good though now, but Returnal was for a long time. So
it could not be more different games. I love it.
Yeah, I know. But I am excited. I think it's cool that they kind of never deviated from what they do, and they've kind of had that time to kind of hone their craft, right?
Yeah.
Which is what I kind of wish all the other Sony studios were doing still. But yeah, I think it's exciting. And I kind of thought maybe this year. I was surprised it wasn't this year. But I can't wait. Should be good. I am. I'm not disappointed that it's 2026, but that's still assuming we get Ghost of Yotei this year. If I think we are though.
If that pushes out into next year, I'm going to be disappointed.
For your critic thing, but for your critic thing, I'm taking very seriously. Yeah. What? Yeah. No. I think I counterpicked it for you.
I've got Yotei.
I can't. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just didn't believe it. Yeah. The only thing I didn't like that I feel like that whole Eclipse thing is like ripped straight from Berserk. Like, I don't even watch or read Berserk, but I kind of hope it is its own thing. But it is a short teaser, so I probably shouldn't be too nitpicky.
Stoked that Rahul Kohli is the lead in it as well. Just love the guy, former Liverpool fan. Fellow Liverpool fan. Good on Rahul Kohli for landing that gig. Brodie,
big Rahul day.
What were your thoughts on Saros? So what else stood out for you in PlayStation State of Play?
Yeah, obviously Saros looks good, but we'll barrel past that. Other things that stood out to me were Directive 8020, the new Dark Pictures game. I think that actually looks good. Like, I feel like it's been a while since Supermassive have had a big hit. Like, I feel like all their last 5 years of games have been kind of mid. So to have like a bit of a return to form could be quite nice. And the story trailer for Split Fiction just has me pretty eager for that game. That it's going to be another magical weekend with Shannon Grixty as we no doubt co-op our way through that one. What else? Oh, and while I'm not a big mark for it, I suppose, because I'm still only halfway through the first game, but that new Onimusha game is looking quite good. Very tasty.
What did you make of that trailer, James? I am a little mixed on it, if I'm honest.
Wow.
But I'm coming at that as like a very new Onimusha player.
It doesn't
Permission
look
to
anything
attack.
like the old Onimushas in a way. Like it is definitely like I think that trailer especially, it had a lot of environmental stuff, which was obviously never in the original
that was
games,
cool.
which is,
I like the environmental stuff.
Yeah, I just think that they couldn't do the same thing as they did for the first 4 games, which I'm sure you recognize, Ewan, having played the first one, recently.
What do you mean? I mean, my
Like-
issue with the trailer was more
Fixed
so
camera
like his
angles,
character.
pre-rendered backgrounds.
Oh yeah. No. They had to modernize that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what's wrong with his character? Oh, because he's like kind of not serious. Or...
He just seemed, not at all like kind of cartoonish, which I didn't get
face
that
is
sense at all
very
from his character
expressive.
in Warlords.
Damn his expressive face.
Yeah.
it is a different
Settle down.
character. You know that, yeah?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh my god, Ewan.
Wow, we're really just...
I
So
assumed
he's
he was
like
the
a-
same samurai.
No.
He's
oh
a
my
court jester.
God. No,
I mean, you
he's-
don't
he's-
get much of his character like in Warlords, so I had nothing.
Well, you
much to
do
go
in
off.
3, and he is a very...
Okay.
Anyway, so this is a new character who is actually based on a real swordsman from, like,
Right.
Japanese history.
Right.
And the face model is a real actor from old Japanese movies, samurai movies, which I think is really cool because Samanosuke's face was also an actor's face. It's kind of a running theme. Jean Reno is in the 3rd game as well. They kind of get actor. The guy in Onimusha 2 is also an actor who has passed away. But yeah, so like it's a running theme. They're keeping with the theme. But yes, it is a little bit more lighthearted. But he is a different character, so he's meant to be. So that is fine.
Well, that explains that, but it's even still that just didn't vibe with me.
Yeah, well, that's a shame. I just think like
You don't want a little humorous foil
tone was a bit-
while you're fighting demons?
Yeah, well, I think it'll be fine. I think it will be a restrained humor. Like, I don't think it's going to be too like Yakuza or anything like that. I think I don't really have any reason not to trust Capcom at the moment. Like, I feel like they're doing really well with bringing stuff back and keeping the essence intact while making it new. And I do like that they're bringing back old IP. They're not just relying on Resident Evil and Monster Hunter for the rest of their lives. Like, I do appreciate that. I mean, I was in like Japan last year, right? And I made a joke to I distinctly remember making a joke to somebody that like Onimusha's never coming back. So I never would have thought in my dreams that we would get another
Just a random
remaster.
on the street.
Well, 'cause no.
Listen, you.
Screaming in the middle of
I was actually at the Capcom offices
Shibuya
screaming
Square.
it. Yeah. In Osaka. I was banging on the door like that old lady on the bus in the meme. But to think that in the span of a year, like we've had Onimusha 2 is getting remastered, even though the first one sold abysmally back in the day, and a brand new game out in the next 12 months, I think that's really cool. And unexpected and good. Now we just need, I'm assuming Dino Crisis is next, right?
Has to be, surely.
Yeah.
Look at
Can you do that in Japan next week? Just scream
Yeah, I
Dino
might-
Crisis to anyone that will
I
listen
might
at
slip a
Universal
note under the door.
Studios.
But yeah, we'll see. Anyway, other games though, right?
I'm keen for Days Gone remastered. I understand why people aren't, but like for me, I feel like I got like 5 hours in, and I remember getting stuck with no petrol in the middle of nowhere. It's like I just could not find and I had no ammo, and The Last of Us came out, and I gave up.
If only he had a Tesla bike.
That's it. Give him the battery.
Probably not going to help in a zombie apocalypse.
People, like the people that have played this game, and I think it launched in a bad way and then got a lot of patches. And I know you can just play it on PS4, but I feel like people aren't going to go back to that. So like,
If you have, and this one is one of those situations, right? If you have the
$15.
PS4 copy, it's just a cheap upgrade. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's at
I
least
reckon I
new
might give it a
content
go
and
too.
like horde modes and whatever else. So I do. I mean, I think feel like this chance for a sequel is still slim, but it might do well. I feel like it could do better now than it did when it came out. But we'll see.
I think
If you want a
I think
sequel,
it's-
get it behind this one.
I think with Days Gone though, it's kind of interesting, right? Like, I feel like when it first came out, it didn't review the best. And there were a lot of issues, and I think since then, a lot of people have jumped back into it and said it's actually not that bad or it's better. So, and I think everyone who kind of jumps into this, if they do, will probably be a bit more surprised to realize how much it has improved. Because I think once that initial review word of mouth gets out, it can be hard to recover from.
Yeah. I kind of get the sense it wasn't necessarily a critical success, but kind of in time became a bit of a commercial success. Like, I don't know what its sales numbers are, but I think it did quite well.
I think it was reported.
Right?
I think it's well noted that, like,
following.
Even if something sells well and it reviews poorly, like, Sony really care about that. Because, like, obviously they've prided themselves on, like, having these games
like prestige to it.
Do well. So, like, I feel like that did play a big part of it. Whether that's going to be completely rewritten with this, I don't know. Brodie, you'll have to re-review it and see what happens.
I'll be okay.
I think that I've lost. No, I think this game is good though, because I don't think it's compared to other. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima maybe, but since then I feel like there was a lot of cool stories when you're actually playing Days Gone. There are these like little moments like Shannon's fuel incident that he's just talked about. Like, I feel like the openness of it kind of lends itself to those kind of not
emergent
like what's the word? Emergent. Yeah. And I think that that's something that isn't in, like, say, you would never have that in a game like, say, Ragnarok or even Horizon. Like, I feel like that was something that was kind of a real strength of Days Gone that maybe does go underappreciated. Yeah. But obviously, like, I get it. Like, everyone wants Bloodborne, right? Like, so it's just like, it's not that.
It's actually painful to me at this point in time that they don't do something more with Bloodborne. It's really frustrating. I do hope to carve out some time for Days Gone. And like you, Shannon, I didn't run out of petrol. I just ran out of interest and stopped playing Days Gone back at the time.
I do remember it being really slow for a few hours as well. Like a lot of writing and like talking and just all the
and
things
I think
I
it
don't
just
like
came out of the
games.
time where like zombie fatigue was reasonably high anyhow. And then like the one kind of exception to that was like this kind of masterclass in video game storytelling in The Last of Us. So it just didn't kind of do anything to like the extent I think it needed to kind of stand out, and hence I sort of fell off of it. But yeah, I've kind of seen people like talking about it more and more over the years and feel like I maybe missed something and wanted to get back to it. I also want to make sure I carve out some time for Onimusha, given I enjoyed Warlords as much as I did on the 2 remaster, that is. And like you said as well, Brodie, Directive 8020, I actually started playing a little bit of Little Hope over the weekend. I loved Until Dawn and I love The Quarry, but otherwise Supermassive Games, I kind of missed the whole Dark Pictures kind of series. So it was good to play a bit of that, and it's got me kind of more excited, I think, for Directive 8020.
I'm reading through the games and just thinking to myself, sorry.
Can
Ewan.
I just quickly on that, Ewan, if you don't like Little Hope, it's the worst one. So please play the other ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I don't know. It was the one that just interested me the most, I think, given like the Salem witch hunt angle.
Yeah.
Like, I just find that period of history fascinating.
Which is the one with the Tiz?
It's the one with, what?
The Tiz. Isn't Ashley Tisdale in something?
She's in the third one. That's the best one, I reckon.
Yeah.
Is that the devil in
But
that?
I think the
other one I advocated for as well, but a friend of the show, DP, loves Little Hope, and he's like, we should play that together. And I'm like, okay.
I don't know what that is. Who's DP?
He's a friend of Shadow Knights.
Oh, I see. Well,
Big friend.
I'm glad no one
Moving
heard
on. Sonic Racer looked really cool. Crossworlds, I think that looked like Diddy Kong Racing-esque.
Why do they need cars? They can run faster than cars.
Yeah, and it's like a Mario Kart year, so I don't know how it's going to fare, to be honest. But it looked good. And yeah, you've just given us all a crisis that we have to solve now, James. Lost Soul aside, I didn't really know a heap about that, but it also looks quite cool as well. I think it's made by one person. That's
impressive
that one, isn't it?
for like one person for sure.
Yeah.
But it does look like we have Final Fantasy 15 at home, and that game came out 20 years ago. It feels like. So but cool that it's finally coming.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't say the Midnight Walk, Brodie. I know it's not our first look at the game.
I didn't want to say them all, Ewan. I thought you might say it. I saw you drafted it.
That
So
game
we're
continues to look really cool. looks kind of creepy as all hell, but the kind of one I feel like I could kind of put that aside, just given the kind of art style of the game.
What do you think you'd play it in? Would you play it just regular or in VR?
Definitely not VR. There was in the trailer, I don't know if they confirmed this, but like in the trailer, there looks like there's some sort of blink sort of mechanic where like things moving when you blink, which I guess is like the eye tracking in VR. And I'm like, yeah, no, can't do that. That ain't happening. So I will not be playing this in VR.
Might have to dust the unit off, get it out from under the bed.
Ooh, give it a go.
Sorry,
James, go for it.
I was gonna say I kind of like how they were like Konami's new game, and everyone was like Castlevania, and then it was Darwin's Paradox, which is a game where you play as an octopus.
Oh yeah,
Is that
which I think
a brand new game? I assume it is.
That was a weird one.
It is new and it is weird, but I think it's quite cool. Personally, I think it's a cool idea.
Mm.
And the apes are back. I think we spoke about it last week, but it's official. Exciting for all.
Give it time again.
Yeah, it deserves it.
We did talk
back
about
in
it
a big
last
way.
week. That leaked ahead of time, and so yeah, that was a pretty safe prediction that we were going to get that confirmed release date during the state of play. Another one I quickly wanted to call out, Tides of Annihilation. I thought that looked pretty cool. I'm on a bit like an action game kick at the moment, and just like the setting of like this kind of
Like Victorian London.
Yeah, like the Victorian London, but like kind of some sort of fancy apocalypse that's kind of happened to it. I don't know, that looked really cool. But James, one I really wanted to ask you about, unless you wanted to make a point there, and I've interrupted you
Expedition
again.
33 chic.
No, I was just gonna say, I am really enjoying that action games are back to being like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, Ninja Gaiden style, rather than
Souls-like
depressing
kind of
Souls-likes. Which I enjoyed them too, but I think last year I said a lot of times I'm sick of them. So like I'm kind of excited we're back to this.
What
more
are we
fast-paced.
considering the first Berserker, by the way? Is that a Souls-like?
Yes, I would say so.
I played the demo of that the other day and I really couldn't tell. I was like, what's a Souls-like anymore? Like it felt action-y.
Were you enjoying yourself? Because that's the real determination. Yeah. So
the art style's really great.
I was going to say it's always like amazing art, but you don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So that's the criteria for me.
If all these games had a story mode, I'd be like a pig in shit. I'd be so happy.
Speaking of First Berserker Kazan, I finished the demo, which that final boss took me a fair chunk of time, not gonna lie. But yeah, I'm really excited for that game. And I feel like it's very Souls-like at the start, but looking at the trailer that obviously plays after the demo, I'm like, this looks like it gets more action-y the further the game goes, and like the more your powers and stuff kind of step in.
It puts its worst foot forward then.
Yeah, and I sort of feel like Wukong kind of went in that sort of direction as well. Like the more the kind of spells and stuff came into it, like the more options you sort of had. James, the game I wanted to ask about though, because you put out a preview of it as well, was Metal Eden. Immediately upon first seeing the trailer, I was like, this looks like Ghost Runner, but with guns. This is my jam. What do you think? Is it my jam?
I don't know, Ewan. You're hard now. I mean, hard to gauge. Yeah. Anyway, it is
hard playing this game.
It's very strongly, like, firmly in the Doom world. It is a single player game with arenas, like arena encounters. You shoot shit. You get up close to recover health when you have to. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's like a kind of flow to the combat. It is aping Doom and Doom Eternal quite a bit. It's in between those two games in terms of complexity. Like, I know a lot of people seem to not like how complex Eternal got, but this definitely feels more complex than OG Doom, like OG reboot Doom, and but less complex than Eternal. So it's really good. It is from, I don't know if you guys have heard of, did you ever play Ruiner?
Yeah.
I didn't.
It's their next game. Like, it's a huge. I think it's a huge step up from what they've done. They did, because that was just like a twin. I don't mean to belittle their work, but it was a twin.
Just a twin stick shooter.
Well, but like to go from like a twin stick shooter to this like kind
game.
It's like Housemarque jumping up in the Rezo gun.
It is the big Housemarque journey.
Yeah, the big Housemarque journey.
Yes,
for a good 90% of this trailer, I honestly thought it was Marathon. Some of the iconography was very similar. Like, I thought I saw like something that looked like the Destiny logo in there. I was like, oh shit.
Well, they got their game out first, so
it is. Win. It's very rare that you kind of something doesn't leak. I know that it's like not a huge IP or anything, but it's weird that something would be announced and then like we'd have played it and it's like coming out very soon.
Like and like the Twitter page was public for that 2 weeks too. No one noticed, but yeah. So it is genuinely good. In my preview I did say like I don't know how, because it's definitely I would say it is a smaller scope and scale to Doom, right? Like it is very linear.
Yeah.
It is about I think 8 levels. I played 2 that took me about 90 minutes, so it might be a bit smaller than your typical game. But when I say Ghost Runner, it's more about the traversal and the mobility that you have is very similar to Ghost Runner. Mixed with like the kind of flow of combat of the modern Doom games. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. I think a very short and sweet experience. I just hope it keeps it up.
That's how we like it.
Yeah. And it's cool to have
it really
this
doesn't need to be. Like, I love the Ghost Runner games for the reason that they're like 3 to 4 hour experiences. Like, they don't need to be any longer than that. They'd probably be overstaying their welcome if they were.
I think it's like, and yeah, it's this kind of cool, like very clean sci-fi setting, but they're androids that are kind of made of human bits, so it's like bloody at the same time as being clean. It's weird, but it's a good vibe, and the music is really good. So yeah.
Do you know who
Another
the music
banger.
is by? Because I was gonna guess it was Daniel Deluxe, who again done the music for Ghost Runner, and I love. You don't know who the music's by?
Is Ghost Runner Polish?
Danish, I think.
I thought it was Polish.
Maybe it's Polish. Actually, no, I feel you're right. It is Polish.
No, the person who did the music is called Sonic Mayhem. I don't know who they are.
Okay.
They did.
All right.
They
Maybe
did
they're
Division 2.
rebranded.
They did the Division 2 and the Long Dark, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, someone else to add to my Spotify playlist. We love that. Any games I've missed? Is there any we want to call out from the state of play?
Let me just quickly check.
That Mind's Eye one looked a little bit interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Like, is that?
I think Mind's Eye is interesting because it's a producer who previously worked on GTA all the way up to GTA 5, right?
And it definitely has that kind of DNA. I
Yeah,
guess.
it kind of looks like Watch Dogs GTA, which is kind of Watch Dogs was like hacker GTA, so I don't know. Like we've got a lot of like nested trees in this game genre, but yeah, I think like it could be interesting. I don't think that trailer did anything for me though.
No,
I only kind of got interested after hearing about who's behind it and the context for it. So
yeah.
I was kind of all about it, like in the kind of cinematic trailer, and then when they started showing gameplay, I was like, oh, I'm not so sure about this.
Kind of looks like someone role playing within GTA.
It looks
Online.
like a double A GTA. Not that that's the worst thing, but in a GTA,
GTA double A.
But yeah, it's one I'll be keeping my eye on for sure. The other one I'm surprised we've not mentioned. Oh,
Hell Is Us.
Hell Is Us is one, yeah.
Well, I think that's deceptively good. I don't think it's like putting its best step forward with these trailers, but I think when it comes out, we'll all be pleasantly surprised.
What makes you say that? Do you have an inside scoop?
No, I don't. What? Where is this? No, I don't. But I just think, I don't know. I just have a feeling.
Vibe. You've got a feeling.
I just have, and I'm good with these things, as we know. We all know.
Yeah.
So
You're the tastemaker.
I am. Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say my tongue is on the pulse, but that's not the same. So, but
yeah, it's one I'm intrigued about. Hell Is Us. Like every time I've seen a trailer for it, I'm like, this game looks cool.
Like Death
I have no
Stranding,
idea
but
what's going on.
else.
Yeah, it's
just
very
like a-
kind of
like
like
a-
Death Stranding inspired, I feel.
semi-open world, like not like gigantic open, like focus on exploration. You know, like and then a weird world. I think I don't know. It just seems to have the good things behind it.
In my mind, it was a co-op game, but it's not, is it? Like,
And I
No,
thought it
it's
was
not.
Was it early access, or am I thinking of something else? I feel like
No,
I'm
it's
thinking of
not.
something
But it
else.
does, and that's my thing. That's what I've been saying. Is like I feel like it looks like one of those games where it's like wish list now, early and like play with your 8 friends. But like it's not like that. It is like a full like single player game. Yeah,
yeah,
It looks cool.
I think that'll be good.
The one I did want to bring up, though, and probably segues into as the next topic as well, is Shinobi, which someone's going to have to like educate me here. Is there a lineage to Shinobi? Like, what's
God.
where have these games? What's the history of these games?
Like similar to Ninja Gaiden, I suppose. Like it'll.
Yes, it's like Sega's version of Ninja Gaiden, I guess. They started in the 80s.
It's Sega before.
What do you mean? Oh, Sega.
Not
Sega.
Yeah.
That's one of those
Whatever.
tomato, but no, just
Let me live.
Sorry. Let me breathe, please.
Started in the arcades in the 80s, Ewan. Came back for a bit on PS2. Died in the arse, and now it's back again. It was always kind of the shitter one. Now.
Shinobi 3D came out 2011, so it doesn't look like we've had a release
in
the
3DS game. Yeah. I feel like it's never been as good as like Ninja Gaiden or DMC and stuff, but yeah.
Cool, this game looks like Prince of Persia, which I freaking adored last year. Obviously, my game of the year. So for that reason, I'm all for it.
I think Ragebound will be better. I'm going to call it right now.
Are you saying I should counterpick Shinobi instead?
I just trying to have a conversation with my friends. Doesn't have to be strategic or like some kind of ulterior motive.
Do you have Ninja Gaiden? Who's got Ninja Gaiden?
Nah, Shannon got it.
So I have Ninja Gaiden 4.
Oh, Shannon's got Ragebound. That's right.
Shannon got Ragebound thinking
I thought it was 4.
Yeah, that was good.
Shannon's playing 4D chess.
To listen to.
I'm obviously referring to our fantasy critic, which had some movement in the wake of this state of play. I put in a couple of bids. One for the Midnight Walk, which I hold out a lot of hope that game is going to be good, and the kind of artistic kind of art design of it is going to kind of bag at some points, and in turn bag me some points. But Brodie, given the kind of buzz that Shinobi created, it looking like my kind of game, I also threw a bid down on that, but you outbid me. What did you bid for that game, can I ask?
Like $8, I think.
Okay. So I just put down a sneaky 5 thinking that
Not worth it.
to kind of get
I was thinking going, I don't have many spots left now though. And what am I going to do? Like save $90 for one game?
Yeah,
Maybe.
That's the thing. It's like there's going to be some big spending, I think, going on.
And I for some reason put like $1 on 2 Point Hospital. And I'm like, I feel like those 2 Point games generally do okay. So I feel like that's some safety points maybe.
That pick did surprise me a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm panicking. I'm panicking early. Shannon's spending all his on Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, and I'm freaking out.
I don't even know what even Ninja Gaiden Ragebound.
I think Ragebound will be good. Higher than 4. I think it'll score higher than 4.
There's less risk, I think. Not that I thought that when I bid on it, but...
Was there any other movement? Did anyone pick anything else up?
I didn't. I wasn't thinking about it last week, unfortunately. Maybe this week.
Well, there's some kind of points.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
When did Brodie pick South of Midnight?
I picked it before I previewed it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We addressed this on the last week.
And Shannon's brought up whether it's ethical for me to review it, and I'm going to leave that up to him.
No, we talked about this before we even started doing this. We said if you want to like ruin your professional integrity as a critic for the sake of a shitty imaginary.
I don't know. I don't think Brodie cares. I think he'd rather win.
What integrity?
Well,
you got to have it to lose it.
I guess. Yeah.
At the moment, Avowed is sitting on 82 as well. So I'm looking at bagging 12 points for that, which I think is exactly what you bagged for Civ 7, Brodie.
Yeah, you would have taken that at the start, I reckon.
12 points off it? Yeah, I think so. I'm a little bit disappointed it didn't come in higher. I was kind of thinking
I thought it was going to be
push
higher.
High 80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a little disappointed with that.
Kingdom Come is carrying for you, so it's okay.
That's the biggest regret of my life.
But
you couldn't get it, could you?
You should have given it to me.
You legally couldn't recruit it.
It's true.
Due to the rules committee. Yeah.
Alrighty, I have a rapid fire question for each of you before we go into what the wiki. Astro Bot is getting 5 new levels. We all know I have a bit of a soft spot for Astro Bot. I've gone back and played all the other levels released and tried to get as quick a time as I could on the speedrun levels. Have any of you done the same? And part B to this rapid fire question, will you consider going back for these 5 new levels? James, you mentioned Astro Bot earlier. Have you gone back? Will you go back?
No.
Is that no to both?
When I'm going away and I'm missing out on 3 massive games, I've got to catch up. I've got to somehow catch up on those. I'm not going back to play levels in Astro Bot.
These levels aren't going to take you long. This is like sit down for a couple of hours, play them.
A pro gamer
I could be sitting down for a couple of hours and starting a new adventure.
Fair enough. That sounded weirdly philosophical. Shannon, Astro Bot, have you gone back? Will you go back?
I have gone back for the Christmas update. I don't really do the speed run levels. I
good.
might have tried them, but I will go back. I don't think I'll be going back every week. I'll probably just wait till they all drop and check it out. Like they're new levels, which is cool, not like just speed run levels. So I like it.
Brodie?
I still need to go back and finish the game, so
Boo.
Worst.
Yeah. So maybe I'll do it while I do that.
A little less
Very dynamic
Moveurdle,
of
a
you.
little more Astro Bot.
A little less what?
Moveurdle, I don't know what you said it was called. Cinema-urdle.
That's the one. Cinema Myrtle.
Yeah, Moveurdle is actually a better name. I'll give you credit for that.
Thank you.
All right. Speaking of better games, What the Wiki is the press start podcast game show where the previous week's winner reads part of a Wikipedia page for an unknown game, and we, the contestants, must guess the game. A point is awarded for each correct guess, with the round concluding after someone has bagged themselves 2 points. Last week, that was none other than Brodie, who climbed up the leaderboard, joining myself in second place on 4 points. The two of us are just a point behind James in first place on 5 points. Shannon, where are you? You're bringing up the rear on 2 points.
Just as he likes it.
I know.
But it could all change today. Brodie, the show is yours.
All right. I worry that this is slanted in James's favor as per usual.
No,
but-
why would
say,
you do that? That is not the
last-
tactic.
I mean, it's not
That last
necessarily.
week,
if
guys.
you guys have any knowledge of games that have come out in the last 10 years, like this is anyone's game, but it's just the fact that he knows so much. But guys, it's up to you.
Big
Study
brain.
up. Fuck.
I was like screaming disruptor at the episode.
I still don't
last
know what
week.
that is. Is that a game we did last week?
I think it was the one I had to reveal.
It's
like, neither
Insomniac's
of you
first
could get
game.
it.
Into the Nexus.
I think.
Yeah. So the qualifier I'm going to add to this, just to make it a little bit fun. I don't want just the game title. I want its specific, awful, remastered title that the game had.
Fuck.
So each of these games
I'm
has a
already in it.
remastered version, and I want the awful remastered title.
Destructor remastered.
I'm going to start with this first game. Okay, but granted, the Wikipedia entry is for the original game, not the remastered version, obviously. So
Just hurry up.
shush.
Wait, what are we giving you?
I don't even know what you're saying now.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Work out the
confused
game.
me.
Give me the remastered.
The
title.
remastered. Okay, all right. Gotcha.
It's not fucking rocket science. All right.
It kind of feels like it.
Okay. All right. The core gameplay involves collecting items and defeating the robots which have attacked various areas of blank, while crossing platforms and avoiding environmental hazards like spikes and flames. Some areas require different characters to beat, as each character has its unique abilities. The player can control blank, blank, and blank. Switching characters requires the player to find a bus stop, upon using which the current character will switch to another, and using it again will switch back to the previous character, giving the player an option of 2 characters in each level. The default character throughout the game is blank, while blank and blank do not share any levels as playable characters. Throughout the game, the player will collect shiny objects, socks, and golden spatulas. Shiny objects are dropped by enemies and scattered throughout levels.
Oh, Ewan. This is Battle for Bikini
James.
Bottom Rehydrated.
Yep,
Oh.
I'm going to pay that.
I was hoping he'd get it wrong.
Is it SpongeBob SquarePants?
It is, yeah. Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. Well done, Ewan.
Thank you.
That was
Sweet.
very Ewan coded. What are you talking
That
about?
was very
Yeah,
Ewan
but just
coded.
everything is James coded, so I mean, fuck. All right.
Not children's games. That's a Ewan.
Movie tie-ins, children's games.
Yeah, literally. After 2010.
All right. Ewan, 1 point. It's anybody's game. All right. Game 2. Unlike the previous game, which uses the Geomod engine, this game does not allow the destruction of terrain. However, the game's Geomod 2.0 engine allows for buildings. James.
Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered.
That is correct.
That's awful.
Remastered.
Well, it's remastered.
I just wanted him to be aware that I knew the title because I didn't want to be struck out on a technicality.
How is that stylized? Is it like all in caps?
Mars dash turd.
Dash. They dashed it.
I think
Wow.
so.
Wow. Okay.
It's not great. All right.
Double points.
All right. What do we got here? All right. I'm trying to find somewhere good to start here. Fuck. I'll start with the critical reception. Game Zone's Dakota Grabowski, shout out Dakota,
Not Dakota Grabowski.
I have to presume that's a real person. Let's settle down. Sorry, Dakota.
If you're listening.
They gave the game an 8.10 on both PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, saying that the teams did an outstanding job creating an intellectual property that has weight. The voice acting is top-notch, the combat is exquisite, the replay value is high, and the world they have created is fascinating. The game is a marvelous way to start out 2010. Well said, Dakota. All right. Being overall positive, IGN saw the elements of the game as a combination of 3 separate game franchises: Devil May Cry, God of War, and The Legend of Zelda. Games have been used to compare to the style of Blank. Blank has sold over 1 million units worldwide. Gameplay. In the game, players control Blank, one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, in a third-person perspective. The world is split.
Shannon.
I don't think Shannon will get this. I think it's James.
Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition.
No.
James.
I hate you
Is
all.
it Darksiders War Mastered?
It is Darksiders 1 War Mastered. Shannon, that was the correct title of the second game's Definitive Edition.
Yeah, thank you.
Tip of the hat to you for that. But James, well done. You've managed to jag all the shit remastered ones. The fourth one I had just for fun was Blood Rain. Do you know what the subtitle for that remaster is? It's pretty clever.
It's something like hell, like gross. It's like refeeded or something. It's like refed.
It's revamped.
Right.
Because she's a vampire. It's good stuff. Well done, James.
I don't know if you should be proud about winning that one.
Now, how long are you going away for?
Brodie? Yeah, true.
I will miss at least 3 episodes.
Good. All right. This is a chance
Triple
for
points.
one of us to
Maybe
make some
4.
sort of charge.
If you're good.
All right.
I think we need to make sure this happens like every couple of
record
months
for
in order to just like catch us up. Should we
Last
start
time
doing
he
2
went-
episodes a week while James is away? Do you
I think so. And double
Daily,
points.
I think.
Yeah.
Double
I
points.
only missed 4 last year, and you still suck.
And we
so.
still lost.
like-
I know. That's why you should go away
Specifically-
for 16 weeks this year, I reckon.
If you pay for it, I'll do it. Sounds like a deal.
Break open
Let's
the
cash
bank.
out our fantasy critic money.
Everyone, go fund me.
With that, let's bring an end to what was this week's episode of the Press Start podcast. Subscribe to us on Listener or the podcast service of your choice. Follow us at Press Start AU and visit the site at pressstart.com.au. Contribute to our GoFundMe at pressstart.gofundme.com to contribute to James's holiday fund. We've been joined today by Brodie.
Thank you. You can follow me on most things at Brodie_DG.
Also joining us today was Shannon.
Yeah, you can follow me at Shannon Grixty on everything.
But taking home the points once again, it was James.
Yes, you can find me on X at Jams, ATJMZ, or I'm on Blue Sky if you want to track me down there.
I'm still juggling all of them as well. And you can follow me on socials at Ewan_Roxborough. We'll be back again next week. But until then, happy gaming.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.